Shell Organic Farm Ramnagar, Mr. Hazel Mishra. And this farm needs no introduction. It does have its presence not only at the national level, but it is internationally recognized organic. A moment of pride for all of us, and very few of us actually know that Mr. Hazel Mishra's mother, late Mrs. Shell Mishra, was the first principal of Manipati School. Sir, can we have you on the stage, please? A few words on us, please.
Firstly, on behalf of the students, I wish the entire teachers of Manas Bharati a very happy Teachers' Day. Teachers are very special to all of us, and we have teachers in every stage of our lives. To begin with, our parents are our first teachers. We learn the basics of life, the basics of good living from our parents. And then when we grow, we outgrow our infancy. We come to school, to the play school, to the nursery school, where our teachers teach us formal etiquettes. And as we move ahead in life, as we graduate from a lower class to a higher class, we keep learning many things from our teachers. So our lives would be incomplete without the guidance and direction from our teachers. So a big round of applause for all the teachers present here. This moment is very, very special to me. 25 years ago, my mother was the principal of this school after she retired from Muslim convent where she taught for 30 years. Now I started my journey post my education. I am a postgraduate from Delhi University and honors graduate from Chandigarh. And I was a journalist for a while. I wrote freelance for the Indian Express, for the Free Press Journal. And then I started my corporate journey. And I worked for a soybean company, a polypropylene company, a textile company when I was the senior vice president. And then I was the state head of Reliance, Anil Ambani Group for 10 years for Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. And in 2016, I came back to Purnia to develop my ancestral organic farm. And as a tribute to the first teachers in my life, my late parents, Samarnath Mishra and Shell Mishra, I have named the farm after my parents. They taught me everything and I owe them everything. So a small tribute to my parents by naming the farm after them. And let me tell you, once you start thanking your parents and you are grateful to your parents for everything, life becomes very, very nice, simple and very successful and fruitful also. Ever since I started this farm in their name, I tell you the recognition that farmers don't get is something that I got as a farmer here. I take pride in calling myself a farmer. And learning, you learn many things from your experience. What I have learned as a farmer is not from any textbook. I do not have an agricultural background, but it was learning by doing. So children, let me tell you one thing. Learning is what you learn from your experiences. But what you learn from your experiences are raw information. It is just a piece of information which your teachers disseminate for you and they rationalize for you and they make you understand it. Because everything has many, many dimensions. Everything is multi-dimensional. And once we started now, for the students who are from the higher classes, let me tell you, and let me ask you also this is a question that I am posing to all of you. What gives strength to the soil? The topic and the teachers, please tell me somebody what gives strength and productivity to the soil. The basic, what should a soil basically have to make it productive? So, since I don't know it myself, so there's no problem not knowing it now. It is the carbon sink. Carbon which is stored in the soil is energy. And seabed and ocean bed are the biggest depositories of carbon sink, followed by land. So whatever carbon is there in the land, that gives energy to the soil. And once you plow it, once you till it, you are releasing stored carbon into the atmosphere, which becomes a greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and so on and so forth. And that, besides diluting the soil of its productivity, also creates a lot of environmental imbalance. We are hearing of climate change, we are hearing of rising temperatures, and we are hearing of so many things, the planet and everything, and the World Health Organization talks about the new pandemic, the new diseases that are coming forth. It is largely man-made. Now let me, for the students in the higher classes who know it better, when I talk in terms of the first thing that comes to my mind is that one should take utmost care. Have you seen any shortage or any stopping of the forests or the trees being cut? What is the extent of afforestation, reforestation? Practically in a very negligible quantity amount. We cut more than we plan, and that is what has led to. Have you noticed the changing pattern of rainfall in Purnia? At least we are all from Purnia. We had 2 days of rainfall and almost 30 centimeters of rainfall in 48 hours. And then a prolonged period of heat, humidity, and a very bad weather system here. Now that is the crux of the problem. That is the basic crux. Because we have changed we are creating a lot of environmental imbalance, as I said earlier. The main focus point on this special day is to enlighten the children and the teachers about the growing aspects, because the World Bank, the IPCC report talks of rising temperatures, the temperatures on this planet rising by 1.5 degrees every 5 years. And we are already at that 42, 43, 44 years. The moment we cross 50 degrees, it would be very, very difficult for human civilization to survive. So this is an emergency situation, this is an alarming situation. So we must grow a lot of things, plant lot of trees around us. And let me share a very, very important and an interesting thing. At Commercial Natural Farm, in the last 6 years, beginning 2016 August, we have planted over 500,000, that is 5 lakh trees and plants in the last 6 years. It is a food forest. We have lemons, Gandhara lemons, to the extent of over 100,000 trees here. We grow pink pepper, which is new to this country. We do a lot of vetiver, and most of you must know about the educative aspect of vetiver, which is known as khas. We have khas sharbat, we have desert coolers based on khas. But the most important thing is its role that it plays in preserving, conserving the micronutrients, recharging groundwater, detoxifying groundwater. And in fact, I just got a video from the president of the World Bank Agricultural Section, which says that most of the 80% of India's population are suffering from deficiency of vitamin D. And that is not because we face a lot of sunlight, we take a lot of sunlight, and sunlight is the best source of vitamin D. But why do 80% of our population, of our children, suffer from deficiency of vitamin D? That is because we are dependent too much on RO water. That is Eureka Force or canned RO or whatever. That deprives the water of all its good qualities. It neutralizes